seen work well in leveraging
Yeah.
voice of the customer in product planning?
Well, I mean, this started in January.
Yeah.
So, I mean, the point here is basically, if you do not have a continuous practice around feedback and voice of customer and putting these things into context, what tends to happen around this annual planning or product planning time is the absolute worst trap of recency bias. Whatever customers was yelling the loudest in October or September, or whatever the trend you were seeing at this particular point, maybe sales is encountering a certain headwinds at the particular moment. So you're going to hear a lot about that. And so what tends to happen is people just go hunting for what's going to support their strategy. They don't go with an open mind to the voice of customer. They go with like, well, we're moving into the enterprise. Therefore, I'm going to look at all the enterprise feedback, and they completely forget that maybe enterprise is a fiction, that they don't, that there's other clusters that exist with there. So the number one thing you can do is build this practice around voice of customer and interpreting customer feedback earlier in the year to prevent recency bias, and then prevent like selection bias or cherry picking the data to believe what you mean. The second thing you need to keep in mind is that I'm a big believer that as you start an initiative, a team should embark on doing research together and get very deep on a particular problem. That's not the same as keeping the pulse on the whole organization and the whole bit of feedback. So what tends to happen is if that year you were focusing on X, you have a lot of research around X, but not Y, not Z, not A, not B, not C. And so you're very biased by the initiatives that have been happening. And then you get this kind of whiplash effect where the team is like, oh my God, we don't have any research actually on this other problem. Oh, quickly, everyone go and, look at calls or do it very manually when you're beginning. And that's why, I like where your product fits into this particular part of the picture, because you need to think of this as a muscle you're building all the time. And you also need to think about doing feature-oriented or initiative or bet-oriented research. So it's like the continuous hum and the initiative-based at the same time. And if you do that correctly, you'll arrive at this time of year with some effective things.